last question before I let you go.
You can ask me as much as you want.
Oh, good.
Listen, the Troy Stratos story with Eddie Murphy's ex-wife, that was an unbelievable story because that took years to get that dude. Years.
All right.
He took over 100 million from people all over the world, and it was all women, yet he was gay. He was gay, but somehow convinced women. Go ahead.
All right, so let's talk about that. So when...
Tell your first question first.
Oh, no, that was the question.
Okay.
So when Eddie Murphy and Nicole Murphy got divorced,
Yep.
they worked out a lump sum payment where Nicole got $10 million.
10 million plus, yeah.
10 million plus.
Yep.
Now, I know someone that's close to both of them.
Yep.
And from what I was told, Eddie, from what I understand, is a good guy. You know, they have a bunch of kids together. So Eddie told Nicole, listen, you're going to have this money. Why don't you let my accountant help you manage it? He's been with me for 30 years. Yep. I trust him. You know him. He'll help you navigate this big amount of money.
Yep.
She said, you're not going to control me. I'm going to go do it myself.
Yep.
So she got with this other guy.
Troy Stratos.
Troy Stratos.
Yeah, Stratos. That's not his real name, but that's the name he came up with. But yeah, look, I know Robert Kaufman, Kaufman, who was Eddie Murphy's divorce lawyer, and he's a good friend of mine. And he told me that they warned Nicole big time. Like Eddie, I got to tell you, Eddie was solid enough a guy to like protect his mother of his kids to make sure that she didn't get bamboozled. And Eddie, listen, I got to tell you, I got props to you because people don't know this story, but I do. You did everything possible so she didn't give the money to this guy, Troy Stratos. In fact, Eddie, through Robert Kaufman, literally had a dossier made of Troy Stratos to show her, don't give your money to this guy.
Right.
She still gave him the money and her house in Granite Bay, Sacramento, that Eddie gave her. Everything. The other thing that people don't know, every diamond, every piece of jewelry that Eddie gave her over the years, she gave to Troy Stratos because he came up with this Collection X jewelry. He stole all the jewelry. So he was the greatest con man I've ever met in my life. I gave him $2 million. Okay, he's in jail for 21 years. But I can tell you, Eddie, he did everything right that he could do. He went beyond what a husband, especially an ex-husband, should and would do. He tried to protect her because at the time she still had these little kids.
Yeah.
Right? There was a lot of them were young. Like she would bring them over to my place. She would cry every night after she knew she wasn't getting the money. But this guy, Troy Stratos, was so amazing with what he did. He hired venerable law firm, and he would have people come there, and he literally had this cloak of legitimacy because he had top lawyers. Venerable law firm is a law firm all over the world, and he would con you into things because you're like, he had the right people around him. But at the end of the day, he was robbing everybody. He had $100 million he stole around the world. One gay girl gave him 15 million, 20 million, and another gave him 5. It was just endless. And because Nicole vouched for him, because I met her, and at the time, just so you know, I had seen Nicole when I was living in Philly, and she was like my dream girl. But I was dating this former supermodel named Brandy Quinones, and I didn't want to, cheat on my girl, but she was very attractive, very well in shape. She was nice, but she had 5 kids. But Eddie did everything possible. And I got to tell you, I don't know this for sure, but after she was wiped of the money, I think Eddie still helped her. That's the kind of dude Eddie was, that he still was there for her, helped her. And, even when he got married, she still would go, he's a good dude. What he did to protect her, she didn't listen. As you know, she gave it to this guy, Troy Stratos, because he sold a bill of goods that she believed. He told her, and he told me, he had connections to the Saudis because he went to school with them, and he was going to make all this money with oil stock. And that's what he told her. She told me, I gave her the money. I gave him the money. She gave him the money, and that's Troy Stratos. And I told her one day, Troy, give her the $10 million, give me my money, or the feds are on you, dude. They're already on you. So I took them to Vegas, to the Cosmopolitan Casino, We went to the second floor, and remember, he defrauded all these women out of money, but he was gay.
And it was all women?
All women.
Wow, that's crazy.
One of the guys he defrauded, but he got him to write stuff. Like he got him to write stuff for free. He was a big writer.
Yeah.
So I got him to the Cosmo, and I said, come on up to the second floor. He said, all right. Went to the second floor. There's a private bathroom there. We went into the private bathroom. I closed the door. I said, take off your clothes. And he went, and he started smiling. He thought I was going to do something. He's like, yes. He's like, okay. And he just ripped off his clothes. And I waited for his clothes to be off because I wanted to make sure he wasn't wired. And I said, here it is. Give Nicole her 10, me my 2. If not, the feds are on you. They're on you big time, bro. You're going to jail. Pay us the money. You're clean. You're good. That's all they care about. He goes, I didn't take no money. I said, dude, give us the money or you're going to jail. I didn't do anything. I said, okay, forget it. I walked out of the room. Within 6 months, 20 agents raided his penthouse condo in Marina Del Rey. He's been in jail ever since, 21 years.
Yeah, look, as someone who has given money to people I know for investments and lost it every single time,
yeah,
I reached a point in maturity. And luckily, when the money really started coming in, I figured this out. Don't ever do this.
Yeah.
Put your money, get your own brokerage account, invest in stocks yourself.
Yeah.
Go with a major firm like a Merrill Lynch or someone like that, and someone who's accredited that actually works with the bank. If you really need, an advisor, but really you should do it yourself. But every time I've ever given my money to somebody,
never come back.
This guy, Johnny Hooks, real estate investor, stole all my money, tried to buy a kilo of cocaine at one point. That guy stole all my money. Like, I just did it over and over again. And every time, this one girl I know said that she knew some big investor. I gave her the money, that disappeared. It would always happen because it's always too good to be true.
Yeah.
And
always.
I learned at one point to just never do that again. And Nicole, unfortunately, because she never dealt with money herself, didn't know not to do that, hasn't learned those lessons at that point and ended up losing it. So I'm not really surprised. But for everyone listening to this, invest your own money. Don't give it to somebody.
Yeah, and I'll go a little further. So Troy Stratos was so good. His last con that he ever did that he finally got nabbed on was he was buying Facebook stock pre-IPO.
You could do that.
Yeah.
That's
but
the thing.
He sold it as he had an in with a brokerage. He was going to get all this stock, and he used the word Carlos Slim. He was buying it from him. So you know what he did? He opened his company's name, Sequoia, which was Carlos Slim's ex-wife's name. So it lent to the credibility. He was very smart. And he hired, like I told you, Venable Law Firm, all these things. So at one point, he called up Nicole and said, hey, I got your money. Sign off. She came to Venable. She's calling me on the phone. I'm going to Venable. I said, see what he gives you. He gave her a $500,000 check. She took it and ripped it up and said some choice words to the lawyer. She said, I ain't taking no $500,000. I said, Nicole, you should have just taken the $500,000.
Better than nothing, yeah.
She didn't do that. And he wound up not giving her a dime, but he conned the guy so well. Now listen to this. He conned a guy named Tim Burns so well from Philly that he told him he had blocks of shares of Facebook. The guy sent him like $10 million and said, okay, buy them. Troy never bought him. If he would have bought him, the guy would have made a fortune. The guy believed in Troy Stratos so much that he went and bought a building with his client's money and a house for himself, figuring he's going to make 20, 30 million. And he already bought the stuff. And then the thing went bad, but he already bought the shit. He had to go turn himself in and go to jail as well. You can Google all this,
wow.
Tim Burns. So folks, if you're going to invest, like you just said, Vlad, just don't even do it. Just do it yourself because all that glitters is not gold. And when somebody's pitching you something, it's usually bullshit.
Yeah. Don't let anyone else handle your money. Never transfer it into anyone else's name. Never give someone a whole bunch of cash. I've done all this. I'm 52 years old. I lost everything every time I did it. Luckily, it wasn't before, it was before I started making real money. Because now a loss like that would be catastrophic at this point in my life. But now all my money is in stocks and real estate. It's all legitimate. I have deeds. I have, accounts that are in my name only and so forth. Yeah. Well, RJ Cipriani, appreciate you coming in. Definitely filled in a lot of holes in the story. And
we'll let the viewers decide who's
who they want to believe.
But I will tell you this. I'll leave it with this. Owen Hansen would still be selling drugs if the handcuffs weren't put on him. And the thing that bothers me the most, he's never apologized in any podcast he did for the thousands of lives he's destroyed with those drugs. Not one time. All he says is, oh, don't do this, don't do it. Because he got caught, he would still be doing the same thing. Apologize for the thousands of lives that took those drugs that you were selling and making your $2 million a day, which was bullshit. It wasn't $2 million a day, dude. We got your whole write-up of what you had. Vlad, you could see it. I think it's about 4 or 5 million, three, I forget the number. It wasn't 20. And thank you so much, Vlad, for bringing me on. I wanted to tell my story so people know the real story. And just Google anything I said. Google Krista Velarde. You'll be able to read all of this on the news. Google Troy Stratos. It's all there. Anything I'm saying is real because it's in the news in many different articles. Vice, And by the way, the other thing is, and this is important, if you don't mind. So when they did this documentary, I'm really glad I remembered this. When they did the documentary, Mark Wahlberg and his team on Realistic Ideas reached out to me for like 3 years, wanted me to do it. I said, no, I'm not going to do it without a executive producer credit and fee. And I said, okay, we can't give you that. I said, well, I'm not doing it. So they kept coming at me. I kept telling them no. So then one day they called me on the phone, the director and the producer. Can we meet? So we met at a place called Justa in Venice. I don't know if you ever heard of it. Great place, restaurant. And they said, look, here's what's going to happen in the documentary. You know Charles D'Agostino? I go, yeah. Well, Owen's going to say that he was part of the drug ring. And I said, but to my knowledge, he wasn't. Now, Charles D'Agostino is the guy that he talks about giving the money to for real estate. That was his guy that was buying the real estate for him. The guy didn't know it was drug money. To my knowledge, he didn't. That guy, one day, because he felt hopeless and lost and he didn't want to have his wife and kids be homeless, he went, before he was supposed to be plead guilty or not guilty, he went to a construction site and he hung himself.
Wow.
And I have that on my soul. And Owen Hansen was going to say that he was part of the drug ring on this podcast. That's what the producers, Andrew Ridgely, I forget his name, and Jody something. The names are at the end of the documentary. They gave me that bullshit and said that's what he was saying in the documentary. So they knew how I am. Well, I guess what? I'll tell that story that he wasn't. Give me a check, and I'll give it to the widow, and I'll sit for 1 hour, and I'll only talk about what happened with Charles D'Agostino. And when he died, when I found out before the feds, I called the feds and told them he was dead. I said, I'm going to his funeral. They said, you can't go to his funeral. I said, I'm going. There's nothing you can do to stop me. So for a few years, I sent packages to his wife for Mother's Day and said how nice a husband he was and how nice a father he was. So this hit home for me. I had to defend him for this documentary. So after they would ask me a question about Charles D'Agostino, the next question was something else because they had no documentary without me. They didn't have the guy that put him in jail, right? So every other question was something else. And I said, I told you, I'm only here to talk about Charles D'Agostino. So then after the cameras were off, after the mic was off, we're sitting here like you and I were talking in the beginning, just going back and forth. That's what they used in the documentary. They scammed me into thinking that I was talking about Charles D'Agostino when, in essence, they didn't even care about Charles. They just needed me to have a documentary. It took them over 3 years to get me to sit for it. That's what happened.
Well, RJ, appreciate you coming in.
Thank you, sir.
All the
Thank you
best.
for all your time. I love you.
course.
And a lot of people love you, and that's why I'm here.
Thank you.
And I'll be looking after you and watching your stuff. I really love it.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Till
you.
next time.
All right, take care.
Peace.